Hello. Happy Wednesday. I thought it was Monday then for a certain minute. Good to be back. Had a really hectic 2 weeks. Well, relaxing one in Devon, and then out in the pen was kind of quite really busy. Very enjoyable though. Lots of other artists there, demonstrators, public. Yeah, great weekend. So if you didn't manage to get there, try and get there next time, next year. It's on every year. And back to nice rainy weather. So back up north. Anyway, today is our first one of the next 12, and we'll just start with a simple landscape, as always, in watercolour. And I'll be putting online when the classes are. I'm still a bit at 6s and 7s with other things that are going on, so I'll probably do one on Friday night. I can't do one on Thursday because I'm busy. And then it's going to be next week before we do the third one. And I'm back at Greenmount on Monday, so I can't do it Monday. So it's probably going to be Tuesday. Anyway, we'll sort that out. I'll put it online, so you'll not miss anything because we'll still do our 12, naturally. Thanks for subscribing again, and I'll just keep going until I end up with one person. If I end up with one person, then it's not financially viable, but I don't mind at the moment. Okay, so thanks for watching, and if you fancy coming to class, we're at Greenmount in Bury, and we're at St Mary's in Lower Ince, Wigan, which is on a Wednesday afternoon, which is today, which is watercolour, and then on Tuesday mornings, which is mixed media. So we cover everything on a Tuesday morning. So if you are interested, get in touch. If not, then and you just want to carry on online, then that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go through my palette. I've lost my sheet with my colours on, but I'm going to do another one, so that's fine. So I'm sat down here so you can see me, because when I stand up my head's chopped off because I'm lower down. Okay, so if you're watching, well done. If you're not, doesn't matter, you can watch later. Okay, so without further ado, as they say, let's go through my palette. Actually, I love the Yorkshire view. I think it's Yorkshire. It's got when I typed it in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't take it myself, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to go through my colour palette. So we do need proper materials for watercolour if you've never done watercolours, but you all have because you've been on the course quite a while now, so you know what we're doing. So I'll just go through a couple of the pigments, just refresh your memory if you've not done anything, and then you can see what we're using in the picture. Because if we look at the picture, we've got quite a bit of colour, quite a bit of yellow, green. We are using alizarin again, and we are using ultramarine blue, especially in the sky. We've got cerulean blue as well. So I'll just go through them. And Viridian green, which is our landscape. Viridian, they're all transparent colours, they're all stainers, apart from burnt sienna, which is actually an earth pigment. So we actually have a look at the colours, which are cadmium yellow, so that's cadmium yellow. We'll be using that naturally we can use it with a bit of gouache at the end to splatter some of these lovely flowers in. We can use yellowy greens for the hills. Our burnt sienna is this colour, which is a lovely warm brown, which actually acts as a yellow if you want to use it rather than using yellow. Our alizarin is this one. Throw my paper because it's not stuck. Alizarin crimson, again That's a nice transparent red. If there was yellow in it, it would be cadmium red. So there you go. And there's, we've got our ultramarine blue, which mixes very nicely with the alizarin to give us a lovely purple tone. And then we've got Viridian green. I'm going to have to go down below here because this is the Viridian. And we've also got the cerulean blue, which if you look in the sky is in the distance. We've got some purple in the clouds as well. We need to kind of do the sky in wet technique, so that's your cerulean blue, which gives you a warmer sky, or a warmer blue. Okay, so those are just the four main colours. As you can see, that is about the correct amount of water to add to your pigment to give you those lovely soft pastel-y tones. You can go back into these, say for instance you wanted to go darker with your blue, and the best time to do it is to add it while it's damp, like that. Try not to add more water, that will just blend into the picture. The best time as well to use salt or anything to create textures is now, while it's damp or while it's shiny, like that, because that will create little spots. And the best time as well to create splattering textures is to do it now while it's damp, like that. This is dry now, you can see, so they're hard. This is wet, so it's soft. So it depends on what you want to create, yeah. Not splattered on the picture, right? And things like that. So you can create quite a lot of textures just by adding splatters and water and things. You can put clean water on as well, because that does the same thing as the salt, and it gives it, it makes little cauliflowers, which is great if you're doing a field, which we've got here. Okay, so there's a lot of green in this, I know that, but quite a bit of yellowy, goldy. So we've got this golden yellow, which is in the fields in the background, yellowy green on the hills, ultramarine blue, mainly at the top of the sky, and going into cerulean blue. I'm not trying to copy that sky as it is, I'm just trying to get a feeling for it. If you actually look at the cloud, it's warm because it's reflecting the warmth from the floor. So you've got that warm cloud. It's not pure white, it's pure white at the top mainly, and then it's some of the little fluffy clouds in the background are pure white. So we're trying to create just a bit of that sky just in a similar type. You can use a spray just to make things move if things get a bit too dry. You know, you can keep moving the paint down the picture as well. It comes in handy. So little things like that. Gouache at the end, like I said, mixed with yellow to give the splattering, but it needs to be dry. And that's about it really. Not using any cling film. And you can try things like cling film, yeah. Just have a go. A little bit more salt in there. I need to get some more salt. Use it all at weekend. It also dries up the pigment, so it stops it running as much. So I'll just put that to one side. So there's a lot of things you can create while you're doing that that first initial wash. Okay. So from that, we'll just sketch the image. The skies, there's different ways of doing skies, and no, I could show you all of them. I think I've shown you before. But if you wanted to do, say, a wet in wet sky, which is what we're going to be doing today. So if you look at the picture, you've got a lot of the blue at the top, and then we've got the shapes of the clouds like that. So if you go to the edge of your picture, say something like that, and then underneath you've just got these kind of flat lines where the clouds disappear. So I can use ultramarine blue like this, so I can use the blue, and we can add some cerulean to it like this and put that in our wash. Now that will only run where I put the water, can you see? But by doing that as well, and then adding some cerulean blue at the bottom, I'll create this lovely kind of shape. Use your brush to lift off and make cloud formations. Okay, you also have a bit of alizarin and ultramarine which you can put in, and we've also got some burnt sienna which I forgot. Burnt sienna will warm your clothes up like that, you know, very washy. Lift off, dry your brush, don't let it run too much, and then keep it lighter near the horizon and leave it. The best thing to do with skies is to put it on, leave it. Soften an edge or two, take a drip off, but leave some hard edges, because that's what you want to create the fluffy clouds with. Okay, just take off anything that's like a gap in between the clouds or anything like that. So, you know, you can practice doing these and making them up, so you get a similar kind of thing that's going on like there. You can always add more kind of purplish tones, yeah, like that. If you want it to darken, but then again, soften the edges, because they disappear into the cloud, so you can go a little bit darker in places. Okay, something like that. And then anything in the distance is just the same thing, a little bit of flat bottoms, some darker tones, and then just leave it to give it a soft kind of cloud. It doesn't have to be as dark as that, you know, nowhere near as dark as that, but it gives you that lovely light cloudy sky. Okay, that's the wet and wet technique, and that's what we'll be using today. Okay, don't add water when you do that, also just it actually looks like it's raining in the distance now, because you've got that formation. Where you get to a hard edge like this, where the sienna meets the white, just soften it so it disappears with the tip of a brush. Take the excess moisture. That's all you need to do. Okay, so put that on the floor. Now you've seen it, let it dry, and we'll sketch the image. Okay, you be ready? I've got my water handy, and God, it's warm in here. So I'll just use, I'm not using a pen today, because I'll use a pen mainly when it's buildings and it's quite complicated, just to show you the shapes. It's a half and half picture. People say you shouldn't paint, you know, a painting that's where the horizon line is in the middle. But it's entirely up to you, yeah? You don't have to listen to what people say. I mean, some of the best paintings in the world have been done with the horizon line in the middle. So don't listen to anybody. If you want to put it there, put it there. Well, I do know that I've got a lovely blue kind of edgy line halfway down my picture, like there. So if I want to measure roughly with my hand and draw a straight line, like that. Is it straight? I don't know, I might not be able to draw straight lines anymore. Very, very faint. Sorry, you'll not be able to see it. And then in the foreground I've got this hill coming in, and that's coming down, and that's going all the way across your picture, something like that. In the distance, on top of the horizon, you've got these other hills. Now, because you're in a certain place, somebody will know where you are. So what we need to do, if your horizon line goes through the hill, just rub it out, yeah, because you'll be painting over that, and you don't want the line to be seen. So the hill comes from here, down there, across into the valley, and then here we've got this rough area of flowers, so just do a squiggly line, and grass, things like that, and then we can draw a few of the fields. Now when you do fields, you need to get the layout of the fields, because they're level on the floor, and they've got little trees and bushes in between the hedges. So you've got the hedge, and then you've got the trees, and then you've got these other bank of trees here. There's a big bank of trees. We'll go all the way off to the left. We'll put another little hedge in here, because you can just see one peeping out there and here, which is right down near the bottom of the hill. And then over this side we've got a dark area where there's kind of lots of trees going up to the hill and that, and then we've got another field there. So these fields follow the same line. You're looking down on them, so as you get to the yellow ones, we've got a kind of line there, then this comes across like that, and then you go up there, can you see? And then we come across again, so you get this lovely kind of patchwork quilt type thing happening, but they do have to be in the correct position really. You don't want them just to be floating about in the sky or anything like that. And then when you get off into the distance, it's mainly just blobs of colour on the horizon, which is that line. Okay. And way off in the distance is blue. But you can put that in later just to... so I know I've not gone very dark there, and you're probably wondering what the hell I've drawn because you can't see it. But this just the hedges of your field. Keep them straight. And then as you get away onto the little fields, it's just a few trees coming up, make them up if you want, you know, and then just a bit of a patchwork, and that's it. The sky, I'm not going to pencil my clouds in because I'll end up with a line, and I don't want a line, okay? So, just clean my palette a bit because I've got dirty water and stuff now. I've just done that, so I'll just get rid of the dirty paint. I'll put fresh paint out. It's very important with watercolours you keep your colours clean if possible. They soon go muddy. Try and keep them less than 3 mixes, washes. I'll just put in here, I've got this little tree here. It's amazing what little things do actually, because it looks like a bit of a path coming from there, and then I've got a little tree here and something here at the side of it. So this looks like a pathway going up the hill, coming from that tree. So I put that hill in, yeah. And all this is just, we're going in a different direction then, because you're going up and down, because it's, but I don't want to do all, I might even leave, excuse me, I might even leave some white paper, because I quite like leaving white paper, and then having, just to show it's a painting, that's all, no other reason. So the majority of this field is going to be sienna, lovely sienna gold, yellow, and then as we're going forward it's yellowy green, and then going into burnt sienna and viridian as well into the foreground, create textures. We need to go slightly darker. Take away your trees because you can put them in later, and the little blobs in the background. And when we do the sky, we can go down over the horizon to soften it. So we've got that lovely soft light bluish tone in the distance. That's the plan of action. Sorry if you can't see much, but I don't think it works when I put my lights on it. So I've just changed the water, sorry. As well. And then get some colour, keep your colours, get your brushes and the pigment. I'm using the same brushes again. So I've got my cadmium yellow. This cadmium yellow is a bit of artist quality pigment in it, so I've got that really nice stronger yellow actually. So you can mix your colours, don't worry about mixing stuff. Alizarin, we need some of that because that's the purple tones. It also makes darks, we mix with the green. Viridian is the green, and we need that not on its own. Always mix it with sienna or yellow just to give you the colours. We've got ultramarine and cerulean blue, so I'll get some of that out again. Cerulean blue and then ultramarine. But we won't use that yet, so I'm just going to put in some of my background, just the fields, Now the fields are golden, so I've added a bit of sienna there. Then I get up to the top of the hill, yeah, and it's yellow, it's beautiful yellow as it comes down. As we're coming down here with the fields, these change slightly, so we can go down to, you can go down there, you can leave some light edges if you want, doesn't really matter. A bit of green in the distance, like that. Very, very small touches. I'm using the same brush and I'm just adding a little bit of green to it. And then I'm coming down here, we start adding more sienna and green. Yeah? So we've got this lovely natural kind of greenish tone with a bit of sienna in it. So this is going darker. Okay. Yellow, we need the yellow, and just let that blend into this lovely tone. This is where you need salt as well. Put it on your hill. And then we're going very dark. We're going a lot darker with Viridian. So I can do my path, something like that. Don't worry about anything else too much at the moment. You don't need to worry about that yellow because we're going to splatter over it. We can mix a bit with the green, something like that. Add some more yellowy green, let it run, let it blend into the colours in the hill. Yeah, that will just make the hill appear. We can do some actual markings now for the grass. This is what I meant to be. I might leave some of the grass as just dark shades. You can add a bit of blue over this side just to give it some more contrast against the hill. So that's a bit blue mixed with the green, like that. And again, I'm going to use some sienna, sienna and green. So my brush is the other way now, yeah. You can go more or less dry brush, like this, quite a dark tone, and every time you drop it in, and you're going to add, put your brush down, I'm going to add a bit more salt texture into it. Stay with your big brush, don't worry too much about detail. We're not painting flowers yet, we're painting everything around here that's not got flowers in, so it's texture. Okay, so here we've got the tree and there we've got the path going down that hill. Like I said, whatever you put in now is going to make a difference to the tones underneath. So now you can create the shadows. We can do a bit of this splattering. I'm doing it in that area as well because when I put the yellow up and the tops of these flowers in, it's going to stand out against the background tones. Okay. And you might think it's a bit of a mess at the moment. I always when you do a watercolour, it always looks a bit of a mess before you start, and then keep it nice and loose. Just add a bit of water as well. Splattering techniques. You can add some bluey green and sienna to darken it. So if you want to darken that green, especially over here, say for instance, you can do these kind of lovely shapes, the grass, small brush. And these kind of lead you then into the shapes of the trees and the shapes of your fields, you see. Things like that, which are going to stand out. See, that's going to have to dry to create this hard edge, and there's a bit there, quite a bit of salt in, but I've got my hair dryer somewhere. Which is going to be scratch out there. There's a bit, just seen another path joining this path, and just scratch out where the light catches it. Okay, I'm going to leave that at the foreground. Sorry, let's watch my hair a minute. I've not plugged in. So like we broke the picture up into sections. Sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. I'm always talking about how you break it up. So if you do the sections, we've got the sky is one big area on its own. We've got the distance, which is a small strip that actually blends into the softness of the background. Just want to get rid of that now. I've got a line in the sky. No! So just get a bit of tissue, lift it off. Right off. To give you these textures in the hills, now I can always glaze the hills and make them stronger colours, so don't worry too much about that now. Like I'll show you the background now, actually, because where we've done the background fields, it should be strong yellow and sienna, and it's actually gone. So it's got a bit lighter. If I glaze over it, you can see I got these lovely kind of fields back again, like that, and they come down to the foreground. So you just paint the golden colours in the fields, and then we can paint using a bit of yellowy green. So here we've got a field that's well, there's a few there, got to yellowy green, and just putting that in, okay, which comes into this foreground bit. You can leave gaps if you want, even if there's no gaps in your picture, just leave a few gaps. And then this field is a lovely yellowy green. This is viridian and yellow, just to give me the colours that I want. And you can add some dirt to that, because if you look at the field, as you get down to about here as well, we'll put some in this one. As you get down to about here, it goes darker. So just drop that in as well. And they've got a bank of trees there, which are going to be very dark against the horizon. Okay. So that needs to dry. While that's drying, I'm going to use a little bit of blue and green and paint my hill in the background. So I've got this lovely hill which is coming from about here. So it's bluey green, no, huey green, bluey green. Keep it nice and dark, down to the hill, and it comes out into the landscape. You can see where it touches the landscape and makes this like edge, and that's where it changes down into more blues and more greens and things like that. Very small areas of tone. You want to add a little bit of a warm colour there, because I can see it in the distance. That's fine. See, this is working quite well now. It's running, it's dripping, it's creating textures. That's what I'm after. If I had a few more darks here, like that. I'm not to splash our new blinds actually, see what matter. This one a watercolour. New blinds on the curtains, that's all. Splattering techniques. Again, textures. You know? That's all about textures. Okay, so here we've got some trees. I'm going to use the side of my brush to put in these trees. They're all different sizes. They go up to the field. So while I put those in, I'm putting some red with the green. I'm going to add some stronger colour, some stronger tones, just in the green. You might not be able to see it too well because it's shining a bit. To give me a contrast within those trees, because you want it to look natural. We do need it to be a little bit drier. You see, so that gives you the bank of trees. There's a kind of little house there. You've already got a bit of it, so not bother. I need that field to dry actually. We need this to dry a bit as well. So I can move away from there. you start to get these bluey green tones in the distance, and quite a bit of water as well to keep the softness of them in, keep them in the distance. So you've got these lovely lines. They're just blobs and runs. Add water underneath so you get a softening of it like that. So that keeps it in the distance. Coming across like that. So it's a bluish kind of misty green that's in the distance, and don't have anything warm in there to bring it forward. Keep it nice and wet as well. Nice and lots of water. The top of that hill, actually, when you get hills against the skies, there's usually kind of purplish and darkish, so we can just bring out the shape of the top of the hill. In fact, I'll strengthen that to bring out the top of the hill, this hill. Okay, and then as you're coming down here, it goes darker still. You can just see it. So it's all about little marks now and textures. Okay, keep adding texture if you can. Just splatter everywhere. Anyway, we'll move on. While that's drying, we'll do our sky. Okay, so just make a nice area to mix some sky colour. You won't need quite a bit. Quite a bit there. I've got a bit of purple next to it too, so I can use that. And then I'm going to wet the sky like I did before. So I've got this big area, a big cloud that's kind of here, and then a lot of sky. I've got a little cloud in the middle, and then as you're coming down to about this area, you've got this. You can just about see it because my water is a bit of a mucky colour now, but don't worry about it. And then over this side we're coming into more areas of level tones like that. Try not to let things stop on the edge of your picture, and then when we come down to there, we're just going to add some cerulean blue. So I've got my ultramarine, mix some cerulean with it, drop it in like that. That's my wife cooking, if you can hear her. Drop it in, add darker colour while it's wet, like that. And then tease it around things, so you're actually teasing it around this area. So here we can go into the shape of clouds, like that. Yeah. Don't worry too much about it, just let it run and drip, do its own thing. You can tease it around certain areas. Then we start adding more cerulean blue to give us that lovely warmer colour. Warmer blue into the sky, and just underneath. Break it up, don't have it too. Just use the side of your brush to soften it as well. Don't have it too straight, if you like. We're trying to recreate nature, which is hippity-pippity. Over here we've got quite a lot of purplish tones, so I'm going to just drag that in into that sky area, and then where my cloud is, oops, need a bit of space. I've got a bit of sienna, a lot of water, a bit of sienna, just to put this watery sienna sky in, cloud in. Just keep it nice and warm on one side. These go a bit grey. So take your blobs off now. You can do it with a big brush. Take the moisture out. Just take your blobs off. I'll soften the edges so we can soften clouds. You know. And the less you do to them, the better they actually look. So you get hard edges, you get soft edges, and that's what you have to recreate. And it's your interpretation of the scene, yeah? So it's not exactly like the picture, but it's a scene. Soften the tops of purple clouds here, just drag it down with your brush so you get a soft edge. You see what it does? Take the blob off here, don't go back into any of this, right? You'll just end up with lines, loads of planes and vapour trails, yeah? And then in the distance, I've got a little bit of sienna, cerulean blue, sorry, and then I'm just going to drag this into this wash. It does need to be a little bit wet, and then this wash is going to go all the way across the sky and into the trees beyond. It goes a little bit lighter over that way. So we go into the trees beyond. Some people add a bit of sienna down in the horizon, because that actually creates depth. If I go over those little trees now that I painted earlier, I'll give a lovely mistiness, and it will knock everything back. Okay? Soften the tops. Leave some hard edges. Don't have soft edges everywhere. Leave some hard edges. Just get that lovely kind of sky. You don't have to be as dark as that. Okay? I'm not just saying it because I'm not, but you create a sky simply by adding that shape. So if I mix a bit of blue and alizarin now, plenty of water, and I'm just going to drag it across this sienna a bit, just to give me a bit of a shadow. And again, it doesn't have to be like the picture, just add water. If it's still wet, that warm area, it'll just blend on its own. And see, so you get nice, so you got the light actually coming from the left hand side hitting these clouds. And don't try and paint everything. One cloud will do. You can have a purplish tone, because there's something here which is not like that. Just a single cloud floating against the background. So soften that edge. Clouds have their own kind of the level in the sky mainly. They just sit in particular spaces, don't they? In the space in the sky. So just leave a dark one here and the light one there. Don't leave any lines, let it blend. Take the moist out of your brush and soften an edge. Okay, so you just get little bits of dark. Okay, that'll do for my background stuff. Got a nice depth there, which is what we're on about. And we can soften this. Right, that's about it for my sky area. Now I'm going to start using bluey greens for the background trees actually. Bluey greens, not huey greens, bluey green. And we can start up to where we actually did the wash. We can go back into that wash because it's still wet. We've still got things in the distance. You see, so you start coming forward, you can do a whole bank of trees on an edge. Make them slightly darker as they come forward, that's all. Have some darks. Just tip it a bit, peep it out into a dark area like that. Don't forget, we can glaze these later. Break up a line, you don't have to have it same. These are the edges of our fields. So some are really thin, hardly any shape to them. A couple of trees there, then they go a bit bigger and you get lots of trees. Little areas here. Scratch as well, see? By scratching you can create an area in the distance that gives you a bit of light on a field. You know, use your fingernails. A little bit of depth. As we're getting nearer, we're going to go add a bit more red to our green. So you're creating a lovely depth behind the behind that hill. You'll see that some of it is slightly darker because you'll have a cloud casting a shadow, you know. So I've got a bank here of dark tone coming all the way across there, just about here. This then goes into this area. Little blobs. Okay. Trees. And we're coming into the foreground, which is going to be quite a lot, but sienna green, red. So we've warmed it up a bit. You can add blue to darken things. So we want to do these lovely big dark trees in the foreground. There's the side of your bush, like that. We're going down to the field, which is a lovely area. Just have a few trees. You need to see light through trees. You need to see things. So these are darker because they've got red in, green, so they're coming forward as well. So it's alizarin, okay? Down to that field, which is a lovely dark edge where the field meets forest. And you're coming across this bit, bringing that into play. Keep them nice and rough. See, that starts to knock everything backwards, really. Look at the tops of these trees. Like that. Just drag it with your brush. Your brush will give you that lovely texture and you can see through the pigment. So that's all we need to do. Okay, like that. So this is dry brush technique. Okay. So I'm back. Time is at 1:45 already. Looking at it, we only started. So as you can see, the hill has dried a lot lighter. This is not too bad now because it's similar to the golden colours. I've got a little greeny but yellowy area for one of the fields at the back here, which I can just glaze over like that because it's dry. So we're just changing things slightly, ever so slightly. Keep that mistiness. It's quite a nice mistiness. It's more or less how you do it. And then, excuse me, I'm going to glaze over the hill because it's a very strong yellow on top of this hill. So if I pick up the yellow, yeah, start at the top because your paper should be at an angle. Right, you should always have it at an angle. So it runs down. Start at the top, work your way down. You can see how strong that is? And let it blend into anything you've got underneath. Let that blend, and that goes into textures. stand by. And a little bit of green. Yellowy green. So we've got this texture again. It's creating a darker tone on our hill. Like that. Again, a bit of splattering. Give us some texture on the hill. Let that dry. Dry it off. I'll speed it up because we're getting near the end of it. Well, not really. I'm gonna get a big middle-sized brush. Add some more darks. While Lynn's cooking. She's got the mixer on. You can see, I can hear it. So here we've got lovely darks. You can actually see where there's some trees at the back. So because my water's stopped there, I'm getting a bit of an edge. You can see, and I quite like that. Actually, you can have a bit darker in the corners, just to lead you into the picture. I quite like this as well, so I don't want too much detail here, so I'm going to splatter this because splattering makes random marks. If you add water to this, it will just run and carry the pigment down and create all these other textures. Can you see? Letting the paint do the work. Looking at it through the lens, I might leave it as this strong tone against white. And then you can have some areas that are very dark. So that's green and red. And then I've got other areas over here which are quite dark. So the transition between your foreground and your background, yeah, is quite dark. Green and red again. You start to go into the red phase of your picture, like that. So that is very strong dark. Yeah. Just brings that forest forward, and it brings this forward. Drag it up, a few trees near to you. You can scratch in. You scratch in while it's wet, you'll get a white mark. You scratch in when it's very wet, you get a dark mark because it runs into the picture, runs into the groove. Yeah. So it's just being aware of when to create darks. Again, some more shapes. I might just put a bit, because we do start going kind of alizarin, and I do like to see the alizarin in the foreground because that adds to, it's kind of warmish, reddish. It's not warm, but it's a red tone that actually comes forward against your green. So when they mix together, your green and your red, you get a dark tone like that. But when you put it on the paper, you're going to get a reddish, warm, not warmth, but area that kind of comes forward, so that creates more depth. Yeah? This is what I'm trying to do without covering the whole paper. Now I need to dry it off because I need to create that lovely gouache over the top. Blowing. And it needs to be dry because when we use the gouache, we don't want it to blend, we want it to be solid. Yeah? We don't want it to have these little flowers. I also want to paint the dark trees and things. I'll do. We'll have bluey green again. So you've got a really dark kind of area, that mix of tone, and that's what we need. You can keep that and just add to it, so you can add blue to it, or you can add green to it, and this gives you different contrasts within the area you're painting, you see. So you get that lovely dark against the hill, because we need that top of that hill to come out slightly. So if I get a bit more greeny sienna-y blue, which is the best way of describing it. Three colours, very strong. This little tree is quite dark, yeah, on that hill. We've also got one here, which is a kind of conifer shape on the hill. We've got a couple of, add a few more. Down in that area of your picture. I'm going to go over this with some goulash. Yeah, so don't worry too much. Just all adds to the depth in that area. Dry that off, and then we'll mix a bit of yellow and white and do a bit of splattering. Before I do that, I'll just put in a green glaze over this bit, because I've lost the green a little bit on the hill. Okay, just to give me that lovely. Quite a bit of salt there, but soften it. Keep it blendy and soft. And a bit down here. Dry that off. Dry that off. Get some yellow, clean palette again, clean area. Get some yellow. Squeeze a bit of white out. You want it quite thick, this, so you don't want it to be watered down too much. Pick your white up, mix it with the yellow. It's more or less straight from the tube. And then here, get the lovely tops of these flowers. Alright, the lovely strength of yellow and white. We could have a few kind of touched. Right, to make bigger ones. Just to create that shape, big ones, small ones. Don't have them in a line or anything. Higgledy-piggledyness all the time. We've got some up here. That's about it. Good fun. Okay. I'm going to cross the picture with a row of, you can start making, I mean if you get your rigger brush out you can start doing the stems and everything, but you actually don't need, you can just create, people know what it is. So there you go. I'm just going to give a little bit of white and yellow, and I know it changes it, and I know it becomes mixed media, people say, but there's a really lovely light area there. So a bit of white mixed with it, just to bring it out. Okay, get the tape off. I'm going to leave that. Whoops, seagulls. Not seagulls. Birds. You always have birds, loads of birds. A bit of blue and red. I've got little dots that can change into birds. They're all flying in different directions. Really? Yeah. I always said do an odd number, but again, let me mix the rules up. That's a fat one. It's a bit nearer. Okay. Let's count them. Get the tape off. The season's a bit wobbly lately. I'll have to get a new one. It collapses on me. And there you go. Bring it forward a bit. Yeah, quite happy with that. Go down. There you go. It's a bit lighter on the here on the camera than it is on the actual painting. So I'll put a picture of it on later. Thank you very much for watching. Can you see me? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock, usual start. Thank you. Indian ink, I think. Bye for now.